So welcome everyone. Thank you for jumping on to tonight's call. We are so excited to have you all here. Johann and I, we live in Australia, Queensland, which is like over the other side of the world. But what we love about this business and these products is that we can share it with anyone, anywhere, which is how we've connected with all of you over in the States. I shared it with a friend who shared it with a friend, and we've got Julie and Annalyn and Corazon and these beautiful people who are now sharing with their family and friends. But 5 years ago is where our story started. So let me introduce my husband first, because this story kind of involves both of us. I was introduced to the products because I was looking for a solution just to help our family with balance. We were struggling with a few different things, my son with his school and learning, and just I was a young mum, when you have little kids, just trying to keep up with the energy, and my husband was working away in the mines, so he had a lot of exposure to chemicals and different things. And there was just some unbalance happening. And so a friend of mine introduced us to the concept of oxidative stress. I'd never heard of the term before, but I wanted to try the products because what they said it could do was it can turn on or activate the cells that are dormant and help our bodies become more balanced, more functional, because of course our cells are like building blocks, one on top of the other. And if the cells aren't functioning, the body stops functioning. So we trialed it. My husband was my guinea pig, which is why he's definitely a big part of the story. And so I'm going to quickly bring it across to him, and he can share what he experienced in the beginning, and just we'll share as we go through the information tonight, the differences we saw and the reason that we're now so passionately sharing it with others and how that's changed their lives.
Good evening, you all. I suppose our journey started with our eldest son having episodes of epilepsy. Doctor after doctor were telling us to put him on drugs, and the type of drugs they wanted to put him on was just very heavy, in the sense of side effects were quite severe. The last time we were told that the side effects might include liver failure and kidney failure. Talking about a 7-year-old kid here, that's just not acceptable. So we started looking for alternatives, and that's where Jill and Joyce introduced us to Vyvantage Protanum NRF2. And we done the research, and at that time, the NRF1 wasn't released in Australia yet. And as we done more research, the NRF1, we were actually quite eager to get him started on NRF1. But being a bit of gun shy from all the advice from chemical therapeutics, we decided that I will go on the trial. I'll start the products and see what sort of results we get. So I started on NRF2, and I went through a quite severe adjustment period, or the better known term is detox. So I went through an 8-week detox, and that must be from my history of working with farm chemicals, because I'm a farmer by heart and used to do it for a work as well. So being exposed to a lot of chemicals and, just nasties without wearing appropriate PPE, that sort of thing, it just soaks into my skin. And so I suppose that's where my severe detox came from. But when I came out of that, the first thing I realized was much better sleep and the ability to go to sleep easier. So that was the main thing. And we started our boy on NRF2 8 months after I started it. And then we started him on NRF1. And since the day he started NRF1, we haven't had an episode since. So that was a big game changer for us. And we decided, look, this stuff is just too good to keep to ourselves. We need to share this with other people that might have looking for the same solution, that just doesn't want to have those side effects that chemical drugs might give people. So that's pretty much our story in a nutshell. And it just exploded from there on.
We've seen a lot of different changes too. Like it's, Johann mentioned NRF2 and NRF1, and we'll go into it very shortly as to what those things are. But, it's not just about addressing one little area in your health. We know that the body, it's connected and it needs to be balanced. And so we saw changes from anything from, wearing glasses to your eyes correcting, to lots of different little things, like just feeling more energized through the day if we remember to take our products instead of when we forget. But the point is what our body and what our lives are like right now is we are impacted by so many different chemicals and stress and different environmental factors that our cells cannot keep up with that stress. Our diets have changed, the lifestyles of us has changed so much that even if you address your lifestyle and your diet, we have exposures to different things that we don't have control over. The stress of the last few years has been huge on a lot of people. So has the quality of our food, it's gone down. So has the, Wi-Fi, our phones, we're on them all the time, and that creates a lot of extra exposure onto our skin and into our bodies. And so let us share with you a little bit more about what we were shown. And we'd like to educate you, because sometimes education, well, all the time, education allows us to make well-educated decisions. And so this is more an education process where you can enjoy the information, and at the end you can ask the questions you like and make a decision for yourself, or you can share with someone else if that's what you choose to do, or we have a community that we educate in as well. So this is our little family. As you all can see, we have 3 beautiful boys. They are very busy, crazy boys, but that's what God's given us, and we are grateful for that. And so these boys are really the reason, I guess, why we're here today sharing with you as well, because we want our family to be well situated in life, where we can provide what they need, how they need it. And the solutions that we found here is just more than just the products. So our goal as a family is to, how do we raise our children to be well-educated boys that has respect for life? For us, it's about God as well. And so we want them to be well situated in who God has created them to be. And so we do things a bit differently, which is why we're sitting in my mum's house. We're in the process of figuring things out on traveling full time. We've sold our house. We had a house that we sold and packed up our belongings, because we want to give them a bit of an experience where they can build relationships and long-term satisfaction. So before we continue, we want to just make sure that we're not claiming to treat, cure, and prevent disease, illness, and any earnings or things you see today is there is an earnings disclosure, and the averages are shown. So what are we being hijacked with? Now we talk about, I spoke a little bit about what we don't have control over, but our lives has many different factors that hijack us every day. I can probably not tell you what yours are, but you can probably guess, if you look at this graph, where your factors lie of hijacking. What's in your life right now that will be impacting your health. Things that you think of that are clearly, pretty much for everyone, would be the quality of our water, the quality of the food they spray with chemicals. It could be relationships. We all have relationships that create stress. Maybe it's financial stress. A lot of people right now need to work 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet, or they can't live on their retirement anymore, or it's become a really interesting environment in life where there are so many factors that impact us, and we want to protect ourselves against that so that our body has a better balance and we can look after ourselves for long-term longevity. Oxidative stress is something I mentioned before. I had never heard of the term before, but it is a big part of our life. It's actually when our cells start to rust and break down. So those hijacks that I mentioned before, they all create free radicals in our body, and our bodies start to accumulate these little free radicals. They start to bump against our cells, and these cells start to break down and rust or oxidate. So if you take an apple and you put it on the bench, that browning is oxidization, and the same happens in our cells. Now, I was looking at the research for my son at the time, and what I found was that it was linked to oxidative stress. And so I dug a little bit deeper and found that all the things that people struggle with these days are impacted by oxidative stress. It's not just one area of our health, because as you can imagine, when the cells break down, the body breaks down, and each of us show it in different ways. So it could be things like fatigue, reduced concentration, could be skin issues, loss of moisture in our skin. It can be narrowing of arteries, our gut system, our gut health, and everything that's involved with there. Of course, that links to the brain. But all systems in our body are impacted when we have high levels of oxidative stress. So how do we reduce it? One of the things that I found really interesting, and you can do the research too, is when you go to a website called pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov, and you search oxidative stress and whatever condition you can think of. It could be anxiety, it could be hypertension, it could be chronic kidney failure, it could be anything. But go search oxidative stress and see what comes up. Because when we started looking at this National Library of Medicine, it's where they publish the research and they show people the research that, has come through over the years. There's a massive shift in how much research is coming out and linking oxidative stress with almost every illness, disease, issue we have in our body. And so they're saying that it's a root cause of a lot of the problems we have. Before, the issue starts, the cells break down. And that's where the problem really lies, is when your cells are not healthy, the body cannot function. And so what do we feel? Well, sometimes it can be small things. You may not have big issues going on, but you may have just a lack of energy, tiredness, that mid-afternoon slump. It may be that you're struggling to fall asleep, or you're laying awake at night worrying about things. It may be that you get sick often, or it might be things like your brain fog, you can't think clearly. Like, there are so many signs, or even aches and pains could all mean that your body needs to be activated. It needs that support in the cell to protect against the oxidative stress. So activation, NRF1 and 2, this is the stuff we were talking about before. So let me quickly explain to you what NRF2 is, and then we'll go into NRF1. So NRF2 is actually a system that's designed in your cells. It's not a product, it's actually a part of your cell structure. It's a little pathway, an enzyme molecule that sits bound, and when it releases, it triggers your body to create antioxidants. So you can imagine when you are born, your body heals quickly. I don't know if you've seen children when they get cuts, it just heals like a lot quicker than adults. And the reason for that is their body's NRF2 system is still functioning at full level. Although they're saying a lot of children these days are born with a lot of oxidative stress because of the exposure in their mum from all the chemicals and stress. But what happens is this NRF2 pathway turns off at the age of 20, and it stops producing antioxidants in the body. So we know that this is a really key pathway. They only discovered it in 1994. But what it does is it produces catalase, glutathione, and SOD. So it's much more powerful than any other antioxidant that you can eat. So you can see here, I'm sorry, I think my internet jumped out there for a little bit. So you can see here that direct antioxidants, which is the supplements you take, it's the fruit and vegetables, the things that we try and eat every day to keep our bodies healthy, are not enough to reduce all the free radical damage. So you can see here, one antioxidant molecule will take away one free radical when we eat antioxidants. I'm sorry, I'm on a farm with a rooster.
It is morning.
It's morning here and evening there. And so NRF2 is this pathway, and it creates antioxidants. So 1 million antioxidants are created every second that it's active. So if you take a punnet of blueberries, you'll get about, I think it's about 5,000 to 7,000 antioxidants per punnet. Well, it's way less than the amount of antioxidants your body can create. And so as you can see here, you'll have to eat something like 400 oranges a day, or 500 cups of broccoli, or 110 cups of blueberries, just to have the same impact as when you actually have this NRF2 pathway functioning well. So this is where the product comes in Protandim. This product was introduced to us, and we did the research, and you can do that too on PubMed. We have 25 published studies on there, but it proves that it can reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. It means that it can take the levels of free radicals in your blood or in your body down to that of the age of when you were 20 or when you were 10. So it can really reduce that impact, the stress or the stress factors that your cells will have as you age. So you can see here, it's 5 ingredients. That's what's comprised of it, which excited me because I love products that have little ingredients and natural ingredients. And you can see here that because of the research, they've proven that it's the synergy together that makes this so powerful. So it's not just the one ingredient or the other ingredient, it's the combination of them together. And in the graph, you can actually see all the different ingredients by themselves if they turn the pathway on, and then some of them together, and then all of them together actually in a specific ratio that turns on the full synergy of this NRF2 pathway. These are some of the places that studied the ingredients and studied the product and actually published that research. For us, that was exciting as well, because we were going down the research pathway to find actual research on a natural, healthy product. It's huge. You don't find that. And then to have doctors and nurses and different professionals back this product and say, well, this is actually something that has been proven to work and I use it, was really encouraging for us as well. So it made sense to just try the NRF2. The same with NRF1. So you can see here with NRF1, it's actually got 5 ingredients again. And what NRF1 does is it turns on the mitochondrial pathway in your cells again. So NRF1 is another pathway. It's the same concept as NRF2, but it turns on a different pathway. Mitochondria are like the energy or the powerhouse to your cell. I'm going to give you a really easy example. We're going to talk about a vehicle. So a vehicle has a body, it has the engine, and it has the computer system. So the body of the vehicle would be like the NRF2. When it rusts and breaks down, the body of that vehicle will stop working. The engine to that vehicle that powers the vehicle, that moves from A to B, that actually is the biggest part of the body or of the vehicle, is the engine. And so that's what mitochondria do. They create that energy that the cell needs to function. Interestingly enough, if you write this down, mitochondrial dysfunction, if you Google that and see what it's linked to, it really highlights a lot of the areas that may need addressing as well. So we found that the combination of these two gave us better sleep, more focus, better energy. It cleaned out the cells and it gave the cells that energy we needed. The third thing that we work on is NAD, which is about longevity. This is the computer of your vehicle. So a computer tells the vehicle, turn this on, turn that off. It helps all the functions in the body. So the NAD is like that. It actually removes the cell waste. It tells the cell how to function. And so we found that when we put the 3 products together, we create a synergy of the 3. And so this is how we activate these gene pathways that we work on, these pathways in the cell. And this is a difference when you add all 3 compared to just by themselves singly. So it's a synergistical effect of the products. But you can decide, and we can talk to you about what's the best place to start for you with what you're going through, and then we'll go from there. Axio is another one of our nootropic drinks. We love Axio. I'm actually going to
absolutely.
I'm going to stop sharing for a second and get Johann to share why he loves the Axio, because he doesn't live without it, literally.
That's pretty much, well, I don't want to say it's replaced coffee, because I still love my coffee, but Axio has especially helped me by doing night shift. I used to do a lot of roster work. So work one week, I'll work night shift, another week off, and then a week day shift, a week off, and then a week night shift again. So if I can have my picking, I'll do night shift permanently, because I can do that easy. But for me to get out of night shift is just impossible, out of that routine. But with Axio, it sort of reversed that. It's just, it makes me think clearer. It lets me, it takes about a day to get over night shift. And I use it as a cordial, pretty much. I drink about a liter and a half a day. It's an easy way, it's a fun way to get hydrated, especially in Queensland, where it's very necessary to stay hydrated. But yeah, that's what it actually does for me. I can actually feel the difference. If I make a really critical decision. It's sort of hard to tell the whole story, but my background is a warranty diesel mechanic. So for me to make a critical decision of a machine, what it needs, does it need a new gearbox, whatever the case may be, I find it much easier for me to make a rational decision while using Axio.
And we've seen a difference even for myself. I've always struggled with focus and concentration and thinking clearly. But it's made a massive change for me just in the day. As I do my day, about halfway through the day, if I just start to feel really tired and I can't think clearly, and I realized I hadn't had an Axia today, it's just made that difference as well. So it's kind of like a daily use thing that we use even for the children. You know, when they have to do schoolwork or get some really focus going, we give them all Axio, and it gives them that lift in their brain function.
It gives them a bit too much.
They think too clearly, gosh, sometimes. No, they're really good. But there's actually been some really great research. We had a neuroscientist, he was a pediatrician working with children with ADD and ADHD, and he did a brain map. I'm not sure if you've heard of a brain map, but he actually looked into brain function, and he was working with a child with ADD. He's 15 years old, and this left side picture, you can see the brain, the little red parts on the brain. It actually changed in 2 weeks from him working on the brain through the brain mapping. And he asked the parent what was going on. Why had the brain changed to all this green? Because usually brain function doesn't just change overnight. Like, it's a long process to help create new neural pathways and help someone address issues in the brain that, you know, is impacting the thinking or their function. And so with this huge change, the mum said, oh, we started some new products. It's called NRF1, NRF2, and Axio. And so he looked into the research and found that he actually adapted it and put it into his regime and using it for his clients, because he could see the difference between the brain function and how we need to support brain. And so nootropics are really fun way to get it into us. We love the flavors. Dragon fruit is our favorite.
I'll give you a hint.
Dragon fruit, I know sometimes people love a bit more tart taste, and that's the lemonade's really good. And for winter, people drink it warm, so you can actually drink it like a tea. You don't have to drink it cold like we are right now. And you can see here sometimes children really need it. So this is a child writing before Protandim and Axio, and this is the child writing after. So there's definitely a change in the way our brain connects and focuses. And this is for anyone, any age. It's not just for one person of some age. The last product we're quickly going to talk about is the collagen. Now, the collagen is a new product. It only came out about 2 months ago, but my husband and I did a trial. We actually started the products and used it for 15 days because we can't get it in Australia yet.
It's not available yet, but you guys already have.
You're so lucky, because this product, we used it for 15 days each. Now, usually natural products take a while to really show a difference, but this collagen, it activates the collagen production, it replenishes the collagen that we need, and it maintains the collagen. And we saw a massive change physically, not just on our skin, but also we saw a change in our mood, our gut health. So our whole gut system is lined with collagen. If you don't realize that, that means that if you've got any brain issues like anxiety, depression, struggling to feel happy, that's because a lot of the times your gut system has got a leaky gut, or the food we eat inflames the gut, and it's not supporting the brain with endorphins and the right chemicals we need for the brain to work. So when the collagen lines the gut system, we can feel happier and we can feel lighter. And we noticed that, like, within day two, three, we were just a lot more happier, calmer. And then also we found a difference in our, you know, things like
eating habits.
Yeah, like full. Wasn't hungry. Like, I would eat a little bit and be absolutely satisfied with what I ate. And this is actually while we were traveling Europe. So there was amazing food and I didn't feel hungry. It was kind of disappointing, but good. And then the other thing that we noticed was just things like, you know, for females and for men, their reproductive system is all made of collagen. And so we notice a difference in the bedroom, which is great. Like, you know, it's something we don't talk about often enough sometimes, but it's good to have a good support system for our bodies. And that's the collagen. So let's finish off with the products. So you can see here some results. People have been seeing a lot of their skin as well. So, you know, wrinkles, just the skin in general glowing a lot more. So we're really, truly grateful. And there's actually 10 types of collagen in this collagen as well. These are the products that we have. So there's a whole range of products. There's actually not one product that we found that we don't love. All animals have NRF2 as well. So all animals need activation, the same as humans or mammals. And the best part is you can choose the stack that suits you. You don't have to go with a specific product or a specific range. We have these great stacks that will give you discounted price and you can give it a good trial. We do recommend at least for every month of your life or every decade of your life, a month's supply. So we find around the 4 to 6 month, you will start noticing the bigger things.
Yeah, it takes a while.
It does take a while.
But with the collagen, different story. That's pretty quick.
That was very quick. So collagen is a win all over for quick results, but the Axio sometimes gives you quick results as well. And so does NRF2, but it really depends on your system. So you're basically turning on the blueprint of your body.
It sort of depends on your history as well. Like, how did you treat your body? Yeah,
if someone, for instance, drinks and smokes a lot and never have looked after their body, they're going to feel things very differently to someone who's very holistic minded.
But sometimes much quicker. The results are much quicker with somebody that's unhealthy.
Because they've not been looking after themselves. Yeah, for sure. All right. So next question is, are you thinking of 3 people who need to learn about the power of activation? Now, this is a kind of a different concept for me in the beginning because I was introduced to the information. And the first thing that I thought of is when I saw that graph with all the issues that's connected to oxidative stress. And I had the question in my mind of who around me has heard of oxidative stress before? You know, who has actually seen oxidative stress or heard or looked into it? Because I had mum friends who were struggling with a lot of brain issues and energy and autoimmune disorders, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I'm like, maybe it's connected. Maybe they just haven't addressed their oxidative stress yet. And so it kind of became a natural flow for me to start talking about it. I spoke to my family about it and I started sharing with people around me. And then we saw the differences when they started using the products. Now, the reason that they were using the products was because I decided to invest into a business pack, which gave me discounted product, and it gave me the opportunity to use the product, but then also start sharing with others. And so these are the different packs. There's actually, the US has an incredible range of different packs. You don't have to go with the elite pack. There's a lot cheaper options as well, but it gives you a good variety of products to trial and to use and to see what you love. Maybe you want to share with a friend or a family member. And it gives you a website. So for me, this business wasn't just about making money, but our family needed some money to afford the products. We actually needed a way to be able to use this monthly and to commit to using the products. And so we shared it because it had the science, it was validated. There's a lot of testimonies on it, and it made a difference for us. And so you can see here, because our company trades on NASDAQ, you can see what average earnings this company actually provides for people. We've been able to build our business with teams all over the world to share and work online. For me, that's been great, being a stay-at-home mum. And my husband worked away. So for me, it was really difficult to just go to work and try and balance the children and everything else, but to be able to create an income that now has provided a way for us to look at traveling and doing different things, that's made a big difference for us. So you can see here, Pro 5 is about $3,500. Pro 3 is $600. That would pay your products and give you some extra money. I know Christmas is coming. That's a big one for us is, you know, can you afford Christmas? Can people afford to go away for holidays? And those are the things that this company has provided an opportunity for us to share, the products, the timing of sharing, how many people around you know about it. Maybe you're the first to hear about it in your community. Then you're the one who's got to share it. No one else is going to, unless, you know, you find a friend one day that says, oh, I've heard of these products. And you'll be like, oh, yes, I have heard of that, but I've not shared with you. The company is another one. How good is a company? You know, is the company, can they stand on what they say? Do they provide good service? Do they provide the products that you need to get to the people? And so I'll share a little bit about them. The system. So for us, it's about a system of how do we share? You can either do it online, offline, but we have a really clear system that helps you make life easier. So you don't have to figure everything out. And then compensation plan, which is very important when you actually invest into sharing with people. So the company, we're traded on NASDAQ. As I said, we've got people like Aaron Brockovich on the board of directors. We've been debt free for many years. And the best part is it's still an untapped world. Not many people have heard of NRF2 or oxidative stress. And the best part is the products have been proven to work. There's a lot of science and research that have gone into the products. They've been peer reviewed, independently researched and published. And that's massive for a company to share and allow Johann and I, you know, Talita and Johann, who are, you know, parents in Australia, to share it with the world and make an income from it. So we are, like I said, worldwide. Your website will provide solutions for everyone, and they can actually order in the country they're in. Most of the countries we're opening, all the countries we're opening, we have warehouses, and then we've got different tools to support people in building the business. So for me, now we're homeschooling the children. We're trying to, you know, get our life into a traveling mode, which I tell you is a big adjustment, but it's it's definitely going to be worth it long term. The whole goal is to really have a solution and a system that we can follow. And we have our income that comes in monthly. So even if I've been busy and distracted with kids, my income still comes in. And that's what I'm truly grateful for. How do we get paid? We get paid monthly, we get paid weekly, depending on the different paychecks. There's about 8 ways to get paid. And the best part is you have an incredible community around you. Johann and I are just 2 people in a big community that will support you, help you achieve your goals. And sometimes it's just products. Sometimes you just want better health. But there are many people out there who are looking for a solution in their finances as well. So if this is not for you, that's okay. But we'd love to invite you to share it with someone who is looking for a solution or is looking for their health solution. And we want to thank you all for jumping on. I'm going to stop the recording so we can jump to questions.